Andrea is a demanding guy, but it was easy to put a roster together. You guys asked me how the fact that you guys work together, I don't know who asked me the question, maybe you. You guys work together already. How is this affecting well, we know each other. I know what he wants. He knows how I see things. We don't have to talk much. I'm like, ABC, what do you think? Okay, I think ABC. AB is fine. C, we can go for this. Okay, fine, boom, move on. I don't care where somebody's from, as long as they're the right people for us. It's no longer a Yugoslavian, it is Italian. Well, for people who don't know, Andrea Trinchieri's mother is Croatian. Andrea has a Croatian passport, an Italian passport, and an American passport. He can talk trash in 4 different languages. The club decided the strategy in the sense that, okay, we need to decide what we want to be. And then we try to be the best possible version of it. In order to be the best possible version, we go this direction coaching-wise. That's what we did. Of course, when he decides to come over and talk to us, it's like, okay, this is what we want to be. Do you feel like being part of it? The playing style that your team's always offered matches what we want to be. It's I think it's the right thing to do, the right move to do. And would you go for it? So it's not like yes, and then I come in and I do whatever I want to do. It's a partnership. In this sense, I don't think he's afraid of going for experiments. And he has clear ideas. He knows what he wants to get out of the personnel he has, and he will go for it. In my previous job, I said to the general manager when asked, I said, the farm team is supposed to lose games, not to win games, which was a shocking type of statement, but it was a way to summarize a concept. The concept is nobody skips steps. Even Luka Doncic had his bad games with Real Madrid, but through those bad games, he became the player that he finally ended up being. We do not have Luka Doncic type of talents, but we have players who can become solid players for our future and the core of tomorrow, which is our goal. It's not something we do with these 3 guys and that's it. It will be a constant and consistent approach to what we do. There's going to be, for example, 3 guys coming out of our junior program that nobody has ever, of course, considered because they were being farmed away from the spotlight. That's going to be Sasha Grant, it's going to be Jason George, and it's going to be Rudan. 2 guys are not German, but they have the status of local players. So they will be, all 3 of them constantly, according to how much playing time they're going to earn, how much playing time they're going to deserve, it's going to be, they're going to be a solid part of the Bundesliga rotation. And we're very proud of that. You imagine Sasha Grant or Jason George or Rudan becoming eventually EuroLeague players. Who would understand what the club stands for more than people who have been here since they were 15 years old? They're going to be the ones explaining the Americans coming in the future what the culture of this club is all about. This is going to be, like I said, the consistent approach that our organization wants to have at all levels. What is the point of hiring a player development, the head of player development guy, and not develop players? Understand? So Emilio Kovacic, whether he's good or bad, I'm not saying, of course I'm biased, so I will always tell you that he's, if not the best, one of the best. I think he is one great thing that happened to our club over the course of time. But what's the point of hiring him if he cannot have a plan, if we cannot give the instruction, okay, you have to work with this guy because in 2 years we want him to be a BBL rotation player. Emilio joined a year and a half ago. at first people might have thought, okay, he's just another Jugo coach. Creating a position that foresees the development of guys inside the organization is a big thing, because, and this is why we did things away from the spotlight, getting a guy that is going to put his hands on the player's talents is not only a selling point, but you guys some of you guys made a big deal on Flacadori switching his shooting hand. It's another challenge that it's not so frequent. I think it's a big selling point for us, and it is given the image of what this club wants to be. Consistent development inside the organization. When I say we're not Real Madrid, we're not Barcelona, they go out on the market and they take what's best out there. Now, we can't do it. You know what? Knowing that we can't do it, it feels great deciding not even trying to do it. Šeško, for example, is a move that goes in the same direction, even though he's a player that doesn't come from our junior program. But sign a guy that is a newcomer for EuroLeague, who was playing second division in Adriatic League 2 years ago. He was the best point guard in Adriatic League last year, comes over and becomes a player with us. Šeško is going to become a EuroLeague starter. This is what we believe. And I'm a firm believer in that. But he needs to go through some learning process. And this is what he's here for. And I am very, very happy that we made the move last year. It was an investment. If you want a guy that comes in, plug and play, and helps you right away, you don't get a guy that never set foot on a EuroLeague stage. You go for a different kind of guy. There's talks ongoing with Petteri. He's not part of the plan for next season. When I talk about clear change of direction, this was the first question that I was expecting. So nothing, no secret, nothing to hide. Petteri is currently in Munich, and he's working out, keeping himself in shape. We decided to go in a different direction, in the sense that we are inclined to have a younger team with a different kind of blood, physical approach, and to refresh a little bit the atmosphere, more than a little bit, I would say, inside the team. We found basically that there was, let's say that the partnership with him was a no-go, was a kind of a dead-end street a little bit. So Petteri is a great guy. He's been an important part of our success, of our recent success. But he's also, besides being a deserving guy, he's also, we thought he's not going to be, he's not going to be a fit for the team as it is intended right now. There was no, because I know this question is going to pop up probably. It's not, the coach decided not to have him. It was a conscious decision that the club took, explaining it to the player. The agent of the player was expecting that, because we've known each other for a lot of years, and we decided to just go separate ways. There's an agreement that needs to be found, and we're confident that we're going to find a fair one over the course of time. I don't know when. I have no idea about the timetable in that sense, and we've been cooperating in a satisfactory way for 2 years, but we felt it's time to move on. And everything I say, or anything I say today, is not intended to disrespect anybody. But when 2 German guys, Maudolo and Bartel, left, okay, we might be we could be or might be sad or unhappy on a personal basis, but it wasn't like something that caught us off guard, like, oh my God, what we're gonna do. I personally expected Maodo to make this kind of decision, for example. I've known him for years, and I know exactly what was going through his mind throughout the last year. We gave Maodo the time he needed to make a decision, but we knew exactly what we were going to do in case he had decided to leave. Because like I said, I think I know Maodo is one of the best kids I've ever worked with. And our friendship goes beyond the business side. And Danilo going to a bigger stage was one of the possibilities that we could have had to face. That happened. So, it's not the end of something. It's a new beginning let's call it a new beginning for this club, even though we tried to plant our seeds away from the spotlight, as I said, even before this past summer or this current summer. Nevertheless, the events of this last summer just like fueled me in that sense. And okay, Bartel is leaving, so we have to come up with solutions. Maodo is leaving, so how are we going to get better without having these two guys? There are guys like Robin Amaze, for example, who are raving about working here, being in Munich. I want to be part of the club. I want to be there. That's the place I want to be because I want to do something special for this organization. And this is something that I learned over the years with the Detroit Pistons. I mean, you need to be able to get guys who can make a pass, a shot, and a dribble. To summarize it, you understand what I'm saying. Guys who can make a play, guys who can score, and guys who can pass, make a play for others, create something for others. I think that the first word that comes to my mind looking at the roster is versatility. It's athleticism. You look at the size of our perimeter players. We're big, but we're big not for the sake of having only size and be static, slow, predictable, and so on. I think we're going to be quickly reacting, fast. One thing that we discussed when we were defining the strategy for the future was a number of, let's call it principles, that we wanted to see in our team. And we summarize it with shot, skill, smart, and speed. Fear is one of the strongest motivators, but you can't do this job if you're afraid. Well, you need to get your facts. You need to know who you're getting. And you need to know that there will be some rookie moments for somebody, that there will be risks, that there are risks that you have to take. They need to be calculated risks. Otherwise, it's just like flipping the coin every time. And this is what we did. And this goes into the quality of our work, in the selection part and in the development part. But it was exciting to see people embracing this kind of challenge. Like, dude, listen, I know you made this much last year. We have the EuroLeague, okay? We have the city of Munich. We have everything we have over here. Do you think that you can put yourself, we say, play a second hand, okay? Not just cash in and just go away with that, but play the next hand with what you won so far and prove yourself at the EuroLeague level, but for our money. Not for your money, for our money. And to see people jumping on that with enthusiasm speaks highly of how the organization is perceived on the market and makes me feel great looking ahead. Like, we have guys who wanted to be here, not came here for the money. They wanted to be here. We need to be capable of understanding in that sense that, we're not going to win every game, and once we lose a game, it's a disaster. Among these 15 guys, we are including the 3 young guys coming out of our junior program in that sense, which means that it might happen that these guys are going to be playing, and since they have to play through mistakes, because they have to learn how to be Bundesliga players because they're not proven, you may lose games. This is not going to be a problem as long as we don't lose players. We are going to improve the level of our execution. We are going to improve our aggressiveness on the court. And we are playing every game with the delusion to win it. Then if there others are better than us, okay, we'll congratulate them at the end of the game. Expectations, I've always said this, I mean, winning is an ambition, and playing to win is the goal. So our goal is to get the best out of our season, which means get the best out of the players we have, improve them. I do not know, because I don't know what the other teams are doing. So I know that there's great teams out there, but we will play trying to compete with anybody. Can Willerbab become that kind of player over the course of time? He signed a 2-year deal. It's a big thing for me. Yes, he has, and he would exploit the size, he would exploit even the scoring ability that he has, which is not consistent. But for example, he's a guy that in the first game against us, in the tournament, when the game was on the line, he had a 3-point shot, he had an offensive rebound, and he had an extra pass that created an open shot for, I don't remember the guy's name who hit the 3-pointer, that basically closed the game. This is modern basketball, in my opinion. I'll tell you one thing. Last year, there was no chance to sign him, somehow. But I met him in Vegas at the Summer League. I had breakfast with him. You can ask him. And I told him, look, I'm going to consider bringing you over only if you sign a 3-year deal. Because I do not want to bring you over and lose you after 1 year, basically work for other people. I will always give you the chance to fulfill your dream of becoming an NBA player. But you have to understand and to trust us that we're going to be the right guys developing your talents. You're going to make it to the NBA eventually if you do what we tell you to do. If not, you will stay with us. It's a two-way street. It's an investment that we make and he makes. In the coaching staff, there's going to be a person who has been first a player for this club. He has his jersey retired up on the rafters. He has been the assistant coach of the NBBL team, and then he became the head coach of the Pro B group. And then now he's joining the coaching staff of the first team because the new coach coming in decided to invest in what we consider at all effects one of the resources of the club. When I say he's a resource of the club, he's a resource of the club. He's a guy that we decided consciously to invest on because he is a person that, first of all, he's been here basically since day one. So he's going to be a guy that knows everything about this club and has the ambition of becoming the first in line in the future, but knows exactly that he needs to go through a learning process. And he's ready to embrace it. He actually already embraced it long ago. And I told you in the podcast one day that he's the guy, he's my partner in crime. He's the guy that picks up everything we think, we just throw ideas on the table and he's the one responding right away. I don't want to get into the playing style role model type of question. I can tell you that one of the clubs that I see and I really have respect for what they do, because they do it knowing that they're going to do it, is Žalgiris, for example. So everybody sees the brand of Bayern Munich and pairs it with Barcelona and Real Madrid. But they are in a totally different galaxy in this moment. They face different challenges. They have different budget. They have, they're the first ones to make the move on the market. Fenerbahce is taking players from us. Understand? We're not competing with them money-wise and philosophy-wise. You imagine a team that has 36 million fans, represents basically the whole country, okay? Well, that's not the case in Germany, okay, for us. We have a lot of fans, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but not as many as they do. They're not an institution, they're an institution that we are not. God knows if we're gonna ever become like that, I don't know. Yeah, I think that not only you get a rebounder that gets 25 rebounds per game, I think that, for example, there are players that can rebound the ball a lot better than what they did. Having big guards in that sense is going to help the big man, especially if you are going to be a team that switches a lot, for example, which is something that we didn't see that much over the past few years. Not saying it's better or it's worse. It's probably more functional to modern basketball, having the opportunity to do it. So, it's not the question of positions in that sense, it's a question of the approach to the game that you have. There are guys like, for example, Lucic that can get better at rebounding the basketball. Zipser can get better at rebounding the basketball. I think that Jawan Johnson is a much underrated rebounder. But again, it's a teamwork, the rebounding, not having one guy going for the rebound, because then, you have Moreau who averaged like 7 rebounds per game, and still you have rebounding issues. Yeah, last year we underachieved, no question. I've never denied it, but I think that the season we had last year opened I don't want to say the Pandora box, but you are analyzing stuff like it has never been done before, because, it's hard to say, well, we should approach every season like we lost instead of after winning, I personally do that all the time. We win the championship, but it's like I had lost, because if I sit on the success we had, that's as far as we go. So my point was, we need to still believe that we have to think how we're going to get better. And now there's a tangible thing that forces you to think like that, okay? So there's no, but we won, so we can sweep a little problems that we have under the rug, No, we can't do that, and we didn't do that. So every talk has been frank and honest, and I have to say, very, very interesting. It was not, like I said early on, let me clarify this, it was not at the end of the season, okay, we lost, so what are we going to do now? No. I said, I do not understand why we talk about things that are going to invest, not Bayern, the whole world is going to talk about things that invest long-term decisions. And so, strategy, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do in 3 years? Where do you want to be in 3 years? Only when we lose games or when we lose trophies with emotions out. So this is a talk that had started way earlier than the finish of the season. Back then, we were actually, I don't want to say undefeated in the Bundesliga. We were struggling in the EuroLeague, no question. For us, we're a young club, and we have to decide who we want to be in the future. I felt last year we just got a little bit caught in between what we would like to do, but what we can do at the same time. And we made some conservative choices in assembling the squad, and they turned out to be wrong. I did. So it's criticism, and you have to take it. Otherwise, you should work at the post office. It's not the point guard that I think there's a huge misconception about that. And I know this was going to be a topic, because it has been a topic amongst ourselves. we're not looking for Gianni Rivera or what we call in Italy the regista. It exists, but those are what we call gronchi rosa, very, very rare stamps for collectors in Italy. We are not a team that can approach players like Sergio Rodriguez, Campazzo. You see the NBA going after, according to what I read, going after guys like Campazzo or bringing over Sergio Rodriguez when he's already over 30 years old. Because those are players that basically do not exist anymore, okay? So you have to be creative in that sense. And you need to sign and to develop players who can do multiple things on a basketball court.